American Airlines flight headed for Australia was forced to return to LAX overnight. Flight 73 was over the ocean on the way to Sydney when it needed to turn back. It's still not clear what type of emergency forced the flight to turn around, but the plane landed safely in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, American Airlines is facing a record fine over mishandling of disabled passengers in wheelchairs.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg describes the mistreatment of travelers with disabilities as, quote, not just undignified, but unsafe.
Chief Transportation Correspondent and pilot Maycay Beeler joining us in studio with the details on this. Maycay, good morning.
Good morning. Well, according to Secretary Buttigieg, the era of tolerating poor treatment of wheelchair users on airplanes is over. The U.S. government has fined American Airlines $50 million for failing to provide wheelchair assistance to passengers with disabilities and damaging thousands of wheelchairs over a 5-year period. And American isn't the only offender. While other airlines have been found guilty of abuse, Secretary Pete said American appeared to be one of the worst offenders, and the department is conducting similar investigations into other airlines. The penalty for American, well, it's far heftier than the Department of Transportation has slapped on other airlines that violated laws protecting travelers with disabilities. The previous fine was $2 million against United Airlines in 2016. And according to the Transportation Department, between 2019 and 2023, American mishandled nearly 11,000 wheelchairs and mobility scooters. Only Southwest had more incidents, with Spirit Airlines having the highest percentage of errors in several of the years. Now, American says it has invested more than $175 million this year on training and other ways to improve the travel experience for people with disabilities. Well, Carl Blake, the CEO of Paralyzed Veterans of America, he praised the DOT's actions, saying, quote, "We are pleased to see DOT making such a strong statement for how it will hold airlines accountable for jeopardizing the well-being of passengers with disabilities, particularly wheelchair and scooter users. We are confident this unprecedented enforcement will make it clear to the entire airline industry that passengers with mobility disabilities deserve to travel with the same level of safety and dignity as everyone else."
And Maycay, people who utilize these mobility devices, they have a pretty wide-ranging, reliance upon them and things of that nature. So, of course, the experience is different for everyone. But what's the biggest complaint that you're hearing from people who have seen this kind of mistreatment?
It's the long wait to get the wheelchair back. So if you're a wheelchair user, of course, you have to let your airline know. You're going to check the wheelchair. The airline will give you an assistant, put you in another wheelchair, get you on the airplane. But then when you get off, you got to wait for that wheelchair. And sometimes the timing is very, very long. And then there's the damage to wheelchairs. So some folks say, look, it's not even worth me flying anymore, because if you're going to damage my wheelchair, and the airline has to repair it, but it can take weeks before they get it back. And some have expressed that having a wheelchair damaged or destroyed, it's like having your legs taken away from you. It's like having your legs cut off.
Right? That's their way to get around. So what are the laws to protect them from this happening? Yeah,
so they're changing. The fine against American Airlines follows the Transportation Department's proposed rule to make it a violation of a federal law if airlines damage wheelchairs or don't return them promptly to the owners. The rule will also require annual training for airline employees who handle wheelchairs or lift passengers with disabilities. No set date yet for it to be finalized. It's in the works. No date set yet for it to go into effect. I do want to say a good friend of mine is an American Airlines flight attendant. She has been for over 30 years. Asked her about this. She says she and the folks she knows, the team members she knows, take great pride in helping. And they have great respect. But obviously not everyone does.
Only takes a few bad actors, right?
Yeah.
Well, Maycay, we appreciate your reporting.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing this again to our attention.